Melissa, we didn't even give the young lady a chance. She gave me,
We are late.
let me get mine. There we go. Good evening. Today is February the 18th, 2019. I'd like to call, it is 7:30. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Would you please stand for the opening prayer and pledge allegiance?
Lord, we're meeting here tonight to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being the source of our guidance tonight. Amen.
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 I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Lorraine,
Present.
Reed, Mathis,
Here.
Krug is present, Kessler is absent, Gopal.
Here.
Tucker.
Present.
You have 6 members present.
To the people in the audience, this program is being televised. We have 3 cameras in the corners here. It's on channel 191. It'll start on Thursday of this week and run for 2 weeks. Sometimes you'll turn it on and it'll be our program, or it could be the basketball games from the kids at the school or whatever. But you're welcome to come up, give your name if you would like to speak, but you do not have to give your address. Are there any requests to amend tonight's agenda?
Yes, Madam Supervisor, I'd like to add under new business appointment to ZBA.
Okay, and new business. Okay. Then the other thing, I would like to make a motion to have Mr. Krug run the meeting for Tom Broker. Do I make a motion on that? Or no, we just, all right, Mr. Broker is not here, and so Mr. Krug will take over his position. Are there any other questions or requests for tonight's agenda to amend it? Included in the packet are the meetings of February the 4th.
Got to vote on the amendment.
Oh, I'm sorry. A motion is in order to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call. No, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Included in the packet are your minutes from February the 4th. Are there any corrections or requested revisions to the meeting minutes? None?
Look good to me.
Okay. Expenditures. Oh, the meeting minutes stand approved as presented. Expenditures. Are there any questions regarding any of the invoices that are in front of you? I had a couple of them, and I don't know, maybe, John, you might be able to help me out. Down here at the very bottom, deferred compensation. Who is VOYA Institutional Trust?
Well, that's just Voya, that's the,
It's like ING.
Yeah.
yeah, they're
John
the plan
Hancock.
trustees.
We have to put
They
so
administer the
much.
plan.
Got it, okay.
Got one.
And Mr. Belzer, are we done with
talking
Klein
about his
and
check.
Griffin? Or are we still, I noticed would this be the final bill, or do you think?
I would think, I don't know what else we're,
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, without looking at the bill, it's hard to know for sure, but I would certainly think that would be the last one,
That's
too.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And one other one was the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. If Tom was here, he'd explain it, so I'm not even going, I'm just going to ask a question and I'll get an answer from him. $13,746.59 employee medical premiums. I think it's the retired employees.
No, that's too much.
No,
That would be,
it's the
that would be the
whole group.
monthly group payment.
But they would be included in that. But we're not getting
Yeah.
the details in these like we used to.
Well, the detail wasn't there?
I don't know, I'll look again. All right, let me see if there was any other. Is there any others from any of you? If not, the motion is in order to approve the expenditures totaling $165,400.59.
That's correct, but I think that's for only one. I think there are
Yeah, there's
two
two.
different ones.
You got another one?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got two of them, John, and they're both,
Yeah, but they total like 700 total is what I.
It's 710,000.
Yeah, it's a 545, 52827.
I don't have
plus.
that at all. Okay. What do you have?
You got the skinny packet, because I got your
Oh,
160.
710.
I got your number was 165,400.59. Is that what you have, Bonnie?
Yeah.
And then you
That's
have to
the
hit
one.
545.
Okay, this one was the new revised one that I didn't get today. All right, so approval of the expenditures totaling $710,928.36.
So moved.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
I vote yes. Mathis?
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Reed?
Yes.
Gopel?
Yes.
Tucker?
Yes.
Lorraine?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, reports. Are there any committee reports to be made to the board? All right, communications. Memo from Southern Lakes Park and Recreation. Mr. Krug, did Mr. Broker inform you about this one at all?
This is where, when we applied for the use of our CDBG funds, we chose to establish a
Scholarship.
thank you.
$10,000
I'm drawing a blank.
scholarship.
A scholarship for low-income families from the Fenton Township area. And the same criteria would be used as the free lunch and free breakfast programs. That way we can follow an accepted method of identifying these youngsters that want to participate. And I believe we authorized up to $10,000.
$10,000, I do know that, yes.
We've done it a couple of times in the past, and it allows that. So it's really CDBG funds that we normally don't have a use for because of the restrictions on CDBG funds.
But now we do still have more money for CDGB,
Oh, yeah, this is
Four
just,
different items.
yeah.
this is just one of
I'm all for
7
this, I
items,
think it'd
I
be
believe,
wonderful.
that were approved.
There's
This
a lot
is-
of little children
This
that
is
could
the
use
most
this.
no-brained thing. to
Absolutely.
approve. I mean,
All right.
I mean, they're
Hey, Bob.
having two kids in the district, and they've participated in this many times. And I just think it's wonderful for people that are unable to afford them to still be able to participate.
Christine,
Bob.
just, so,
Sorry, go ahead.
so you know, the CDBG money is targeted to low to moderate income as defined by the feds.
Okay. So
Historically,
it has to be used for those
right,
purposes.
we can't just do it
Absolutely,
Yes.
And where do those funds come from?
from the federal government. It's
Okay.
part of block grants that they ship down. And it's kind of like the DDA money that you hear about in Fenton all the time.
Right.
Everybody wants it spent on something else. You can't.
Right.
Okay?
You're
And that's
really
the-
restricted.
You know, it's really restricted. At some points in time, we didn't have any zip code areas that qualified as low to moderate income. We now have a few, and we've been able to do some things like pave some ends of roads, you know, some things like that. But historically, it's been hard for us to find enough uses that qualify. And there's a few things that aren't low to moderate income that have other categories, but point is, it's difficult to find
That-
uses that will be approved to spend that money. So if you can find a use that's gonna get approved, then ride that horse, because that money is federal government money that you send back if you don't spend it for those purposes.
And we really look for it. We really, really do.
Oh, we've been doing a lot better,
We
actually.
do a lot better than a lot
There
of
was a period of
townships.
years
Yeah.
where we just didn't have anything. We actually loaned it out to other people that had more use for it,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Well, I would agree that this is an excellent use to get kids out and get them involved in the community and let them participate in classes and sports. Yeah.
So I take it we do not vote on this at all?
No, this is just a letter
And Tom will get it to them.
from the director, Mr. Ferris, thanking the township for establishing it.
Christine, just one second. Christine, I apologize because I know that you were just appointed to the SLPR, so I just wanted to, Bob, do they have a good recording of where this money goes? I mean,
Well,
We
they,
do.
on this, they will definitely have to,
right.
because
I just want to make sure.
well, they haven't done it for quite a while. So they're going to have to establish who uses it and,
And they will report back to the township? I just want to make sure that we have
They
some type of
can.
accounting.
They do, Vince.
Okay,
They do.
that's all I
They
ask.
They come into the office once a year, and then we talk about whatever is available. Last year, I think it was last year or the year before, Odell Road, the culverts. But we had to find out if it was, the income was the right. So Tom, they did the research in that, and so we were able to replace driveway culverts for certain people. So we definitely have a record. We did carbon monoxide units through the fire department and
smoke alarms
smoke alarms.
for
and
seniors.
for
I would just
seniors.
want to make sure that we were on record.
Oh,
that
yeah.
Southern Lakes is going to give us a proper accounting
Oh,
of
they're
the
very
$10,000.
thorough.
Okay,
Really, really thorough.
thank you.
All right, adoption of ordinances, none. Unfinished business, none. This is a new business. This is a proposed fire protection and emergency service agreement through Tyrone Township. And Tyrone Township's not here, and Tom's not here. Did we get an answer?
Yeah. I got part of training today. This is a new agreement with Tyrone Township. If you recall, they had some problems with the wording. And it really does not affect the end result as far as what we cover, what we're compensated. And Mr. Belzer, you were part of that. Can you expand on that, Jack?
Sure, what happened was, the old contract, which had been used for a number of years, was redone, if you will, by us. I mean, I made some changes to it, which Tyrone Township, for whatever reason, had some issues with that. Their issue being like you changed it, that was a single issue. But in any event, we, really. And so we had a meeting here at the township. We made a couple other changes they wanted to make that are highlighted here. This is an agreement both Tom and I and the fire chief also reviewed, and everybody's comfortable with it. It takes, and it clarifies some of the issues. One of the main thing is that it's not the fire chief making decisions about stuff, but rather the board making decisions. They wanted the right to change their protocol, which, yeah, they can decide when and how they want to call it out. But this is what was agreed to. I'm comfortable with it, Ryan's comfortable with it, Tom's comfortable with it.
There was about 7 of us, and I did not realize, this has been just in limbo for a while, for quite a while. And I said, how old is this contract? 18 years. I said, if 18 years, we've got to revise it. I mean, this is a little bit. They
least
were real
review it.
concerned about cutting trees down. They didn't want the township to cut the trees down if they fall on the road. Well, they don't have a DPW building or any services like that. If a tree falls on the road, the fire department has to get that tree moved off, and then they can do whatever they want. But now, Jack, we'll go ahead and send this to them and see, can we give them a date to accept it?
No, I don't think you need to do that. I think you just, if it's fine with our board, we sign it, send it to them. And because the supervisor and several of the You know, the clerk was here. There were
Yeah, there
attorneys,
was-
so I think it's fine for us to just sign it, you know, if the board approves it, and then we send it to them and,
Well,
I do
the
too.
current old version is up April 1st.
Right.
So
so we have time, yeah.
we have, what, month and a half to
The only thing, if we would
approve it and have them approve it.
but if we do it now, let's get it moving. Because, I mean, they just came and while they're thinking about it,
If our attorney's fine with it, I'm fine with it.
yeah,
It's just
well,
the
Jack
way it
is, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I am.
Okay, let's go ahead with that
We
then.
need a
I have one
motion?
question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to, yes.
Just one question for Jack. I understand governmental immunity, but since we're taking on the responsibility on an on-call basis, does the township have any liability at all? If say, for instance, something happened, somebody was killed?
Yeah, and that's addressed in there.
I know
We
it's
have-
addressed, I just want to make sure
Yeah,
that,
we do
for
have
the
s-
record, that's
yeah,
all.
We do
Absolutely.
have some liability for sure, but it's all covered, our insurance, that's one of the things Tom and I talked about. But for sure, our insurance covers that.
Covers it.
And they'd be on the hook too, depending, they meaning Tyrone Township, depending what they did or didn't do. So, yeah, anytime you do anything, there's some liability, but.
But we're
that's what
covered
the-
through insurance
Right.
for doing this process
Yes.
for another community. So our fire department, which I'm sure is pretty common.
Yeah, I mean, with the mutual aid agreement and.
Right,
the same
it's got to be
thing
across. I just want to make sure.
Across
Okay.
everywhere.
All right, thanks.
All right then, any other board discussion? If not, a motion to approve the revised fire suppression rescue emergency medical services agreement with Tyrone Township as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Reed,
Yes.
Gopal,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, Lorraine.
Yes.
I vote yes, Mathis.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Proposed background check and drug screening services agreement. This just came up through the company that we deal with our payroll. And Tom just brought it into my office. Did he talk to you in regards to this? Because we had so many snow days, we never got to it, so.
As Bonnie was saying, this is the same company that does our payroll, and they have established this service. We would only pay for what we use. There's no yearly fee, joining fee, any of that. And they can do a simple background check, or they can do a more inclusive one. And on the drug screening, here again, they can do the basic, and I believe the basic drug screen looks at 5 different potential issues. And if we wanted to go farther, they have the capability of doing that. And the nice thing is, we know the company that's doing it, and
Very thorough.
the other company, we wanted them to take some language out that inhibited what we wanted to do. They refused. And this company has no problem doing it up front.
This is something we need to do, and we all agreed on that in our different discussions.
Well,
And
in
we got
today's
this.
world,
We got to
this
do
is
it.
probably the best case scenario. I cannot remember what the cost is.
No, I
He
don't,
told me it was really, I don't remember the exact dollars were, but compared to the other options, it was less than half.
Yeah,
So I mean, it
but
was significantly better value.
ADP's a great company, and $40 is, we don't hire that many people per year, so for $40, I think, I think it's, but I know that, I was gonna ask Tom, but maybe Bob, you know, or Bonnie, we were paying a lot less through the free service that I had given you, but Tom feels that this is going to be, even though it's more expensive, it's going to be better because we're using
There was a
80
reason,
people.
but I
So
can't
is
remember.
what, the free thing
I
is
don't.
limited in scope?
Yes, it
This
is.
is much broader in scope, so for the dollars, the $40, it's good value for the services you're getting that you don't get for free. It doesn't mean you don't use the other one.
Well, that was my question, because the other one is through the state.
Yeah.
So, which protected us, I thought.
Yeah.
And that's why we chose to use it. Now,
Yeah.
you
Do
know,
both.
you can, so we could use both, correct? Because they're not saying you must use us exclusively. So we could do the basic. If something come up, then we could go to ADP and say we want you to go
could do
to
anything.
a new hire or a second level. Okay, yeah.
Is there any other discussion in regards to this? A motion to approve the background check and drug screening services agreement with ADP as presented.
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mathis,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, I vote yes. Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
motion passes.
All right. Really, we need to hire a temporary ordinance enforcement officer. It is in your packet in regards to it.
You missed the 911 consortium.
I don't have it here. I don't have that at all.
Nothing about 911?
It's just, it looks like they're getting new pagers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a
right
Oh,
now.
okay, you're going
911
here,
owns
but
the
he didn't put
pagers, and
anything,
It's
yeah.
a lease agreement that
Yeah.
And-
they own them, but we keep them in good working order, and we're responsible if we break them.
It's nothing complicated, but
No, and
Can you
they have to
explain
list-
that, though? Since you sit on
Yeah.
the fire,
Yeah, well, sure. What happens is, the 911 consortium supplies fire and police departments with certain communication equipment. In particular, for the fire department here, there's pagers, there's some computer in there or something. And so those items belong to the consortium, and they do that with the money that's paid with your phone bill every month. So they supply those to the township and the firemen. If something gets destroyed incorrectly, I mean, if it's just, doesn't
Normal
work
wear and
out,
tear,
worn out or
whatever.
something, yeah, but if it gets destroyed, somebody gets mad and smashes it with the hammer, then we're responsible to pay for that.
okay.
And you have your list in your packet of the ones that we do own.
The thing
and
that
have paid for.
concerned me was it looks like we pay, if something happens, we reimburse them for cost, not what it's worth at the time. And if it hasn't been a problem over time, I guess I won't say anything about it. But I do know, I mean, if you take a $50 pager and you walk it out the store, it's now worth about $10.
The problem with that is even with my employees, if I buy them a phone and they lose the phone, I still have to replace the phone.
With a-
So,
with another
with the
one.
new phone. So, I mean, I don't go, so
Replacement
I
cost.
thought the same thing,
Yeah.
but it's really.
Well,
there's-
you've lived the other side of the equation, so I get
There's
that.
nothing you can do.
Thanks, Vince, that's a good way to explain that.
Yeah. It makes me happy.
I'm fine.
All right, then, I'm sorry that I missed that. Hiring a temporary ordinance
No,
enforcement.
Gotta vote on it.
Gotta vote on it.
Because it has to be signed.
Why isn't it in this group? Okay, I'm sorry. So I am going to, thank you. I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the pager and computer equipment agreements with Genesee County 911 Consortium Commission as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Gopel,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Lorraine.
Yes.
Mathis,
Yes.
I vote yes. Reed,
Yes.
Kessler's absent, motion passes.
Okay. Now, I'm going to talk to you about hiring.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not here, whatever. It just, you can see how I mark
We believe you,
everything.
Bonnie. We believe you.
Anyway, we have a code enforcement officer named Pat Shaw. Pat has worked for us now almost a year, I believe. And he's done a really good job, but Pat's got to go in and have back surgery. And he's going to be off for a little while. So Tom and I were talking, and we had a past code enforcement officer, Tom Hosey, who works now he was working for Grand Lake Schools, but I'm not sure where he's working now, but he's part-time. So we contacted him and asked if he could come in for $20 an hour, 2 days a week. Because now this is getting to be busy. And the building is gonna start, even though we got snow on the ground, they're getting everything ready. So I need a motion, well, I'm gonna have board discussion. Is there any board discussion in regards to it? Hosey knows the area. He worked for us for about 3 years, I believe it was. And he knows the builders, and he does a good job.
I think it would be up to Tom, I mean, certainly you, Bonnie, but my only worry is I know he has another job, and that we are going into season, unless he's not working at another job now, but I mean, we're going into a period where there's going to be a demand for this position.
Shaw says that it's only going to be for 6 to 8 weeks. He would be able to come in and work in the office. I had the back surgery also. And so we're going to just kind of play it by ear because he's so knowledgeable about everything that's going on.
No, Mr. Hosey's great. I just wondered if he, because of his current, the demand of his current position would allow him to be able to do this, because we are going into.
He's definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
My issue is not with Tom Hosey. I think that's the right solution to the problem, but it looks like we're hiring him as an employee, and I would prefer we just hire him as an independent contractor.
I would agree, absolutely.
And the reason I know that
you
is
could do that. We could say that contract.
I believe he has a DBA. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Or other things. No, I'm saying, so he has a business. All we have to do is ask him to.
Yeah, I just don't
As
want.
long as he's an independent contractor, that's all that matters. I agree with.
And I will tell you, because I already signed payroll for this week, he had done some work last week, and he's on payroll. That's why I think
He should not be on payroll.
John, we'll just change it.
I'm just telling you, that's why I think that the intention was to hire him as an employee, because he was on this week's payroll. So we'll need to change it, but I wanted to ask Tom if that was the arrangement, but based on the fact that he's on payroll, as compared to accounts payable, I think that's.
Well, I believe that was erroneous, because in order to do that, we would have to do a posting because it's a union position. So somebody
That's true.
missed something.
Okay,
But to
We'll
make him
get
an
it corrected.
employee, we'd have to post
yeah.
for 10 days to allow any current
Well,
employee.
there might be some other explanation, but it just looked to me like he
You
was
know,
being treated
you
as an
might be right
employee.
on that one.
I think it just fell through.
Well, I was going to say, because if we took withholdings out of him and all that, he should not be an employee. If he's a 6 to
We're
8
going to
week.
have to check with Tom.
Okay, but
Yeah.
can I weigh in on this?
Okay.
So
No.
you can't just.
No, no, absolutely
You
not.
can't just decide that he's an independent contractor, not an employee. There's certain standards that have to be looked at.
We are
The
not
more-
going to be telling him when to come to work, when to leave work, Jack. He can come in as an independent contractor.
Oh, we do.
And he can act as an
I
independent
don't think that's
contractor.
the case. I think they do tell
do.
them, here's when you come into work, here's how long you have to be here. Here's
Absolutely.
what you need to go do.
He's $20 an hour. No way, Jack.
No, that's the truth,
Well-
Vince, that's the truth. Because people will call in for inspections. He does inspections 2 days a week. I'm saying,
How he does them and when he does them is
Yes.
his
We don't
business.
care.
He manages the load, we pay him the dollars.
Is he doing inspections or is he
not
doing
inspection,
code enforcement?
code enforcement. He'll go out, Shaw would go out in the morning.
We have
And then
our
come
regular
back and sit in
building
the-
inspector.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know that,
We need to get
my
it corrected.
advice is that we ought to look at this a little more carefully than just making some random decision that he's an employee or he's an independent contractor. I mean, there are standards under the law, what qualifies as an independent contractor, what qualifies as an employee. And the more control, basically it comes down to the more control you have, the more likely they're an employee. So he's gonna, I don't know what the setup is, but
I
my
don't either.
guess is, you're gonna tell him, here's the days where you have to be here, here's the hours you have to be
We don't
here.
need to do that at all. That's his problem. with his schedule. We say, here is our load. We expect you to work X hours in a week.
We don't even have to specify that.
Yeah.
Here's 13 things you need to go and look at under code enforcement.
That's what they
We don't
get
care
in
when you do it, how you do it, when you show up, just get it done.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the parameters of the job are.
Yeah, it seems similar to hiring someone from a temp agency almost. You know, where you wouldn't bring them on your payroll since it's a temporary fill.
How's it different than our building inspector? I mean, it's not really,
Well, the building inspector, I don't know I don't know what all the setups are here, but I'm dealing with this right here now. And so if you tell somebody you have to be here Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to
we're
5.
not gonna do that though.
Well, I mean, I don't know what you do.
Well, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
We're gonna set it up. That's what we're saying, is we're gonna set it up so that it is an independent contractor relationship, not an employer-employee relationship. So part of that process is allowing them freedom of schedule. That's part of the process.
And we should have an IC agreement that the township
Right.
uses on a regular
Exactly.
basis.
Exactly.
And we should just give him the IC agreement, he signs the IC agreement, and he works as an
Just did
independent.
his contract too.
When does Pat Shaw go off?
He's
He's already
surgery
gone.
He's
on
already off?
Wednesday, yeah.
His surgery's day after tomorrow.
Well, and here's one
We'll
other
check it out
stuff
one
with this
time.
whole process.
check it.
You're gonna have this code enforcement officer, and he may be issuing tickets. I don't know, really, and I don't know the answer to this. I don't know that you can have some independent contractor writing
Tickets.
tickets, and taking them to court.
Why? Well, as long as he's got authority from the township to do it, it's no different than the building inspector. Building inspector red tags stuff all the time. He's not an
And he's
employee.
licensed under the state,
Yeah, so,
well,
Well, let's put this on.
How can we? He's already
And-
starting to work.
Yeah.
I think we need a decision.
well, we've made the decision. Jack just isn't sure if the realities of the job comply with what our dictates are, but I don't see, I know those rules. I don't see any reason why that couldn't be done as an independent
I think
contractor.
I know the rules too, and I have no problem putting him on as an independent contractor.
well,
See, the reason why that he came, with all the snow days and that, I don't know if he even came 2 days a week, but Pat came in, Pat showed him what he had to do in the different complaints, took him in the office. So, you're checking the payroll?
Yeah, I'm having problems with my internet connection, but I think I got that downloaded.
Because I
already.
only saw him one day. at
Jack,
all.
what would be your suggestion as far as how we rectify this in the next couple days?
well, if you're gonna make him an independent contractor, basically what you do is say, look, we need you to enforce the codes, and we'll pay you $20 an hour, period.
Okay.
I mean, we hired Jack to protect the township, and sounds to me like that's what he's doing. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's too complicated of a fix.
Well, there's two sides to that story. You can protect the township, but you also, when you bring on an employee, you also have additional liabilities, extra costs. So,
I don't think that was the intentions, but I don't know.
no, it's always better to hire someone as an independent contractor that's a temporary fill than it is to bring them on as an employee.
Well, isn't that what
And
you
one of the reasons is liability, and
Well, you're not gonna escape liability even with an independent contractor. There's still gonna be liability issues.
Right, but you take on the employer-employee liability, if you just set him up that way, you're assuming that liability.
Well-
And I'm trying to avoid that liability.
Well, if you're gonna, let them do whenever, however, that's the easy fix. You just tell them, say, look, we need you to
Okay.
enforce the codes.
I guess Bob and Bonnie, I would ask you, do you direct him every day where to go, when to be there?
Absolutely not.
Then he's an independent contractor for
Absolutely not.
6 weeks.
He gets the calls, the voicemails, the whole thing. He arranges all the time.
All his time's
All the
himself, he
time.
does everything himself,
Here,
correct?
right here from Tom. it
John, do you
was,
agree?
On a temporary part-time basis.
Yeah, well, the memo doesn't help us. It doesn't say that. The only reason I raised the issue is I know he was on the payroll.
Higher.
And I don't, that's not where I want him. I want him on the accounts payable as a
Accounts payable, all right.
1099 independent contractor.
And we have the appropriate forms that we use
Right.
for the people that do the lawn, the snow plowing.
I don't
Our
think he's
legal's
gonna
all
care
done.
As long as he
I-
gets
I don't
20 bucks an
either.
hour.
He don't care.
I'm with John on this
More
one,
than likely,
absolutely.
it's Mrs. Hosey telling him, Tom, you gotta get a job somewhere.
You're home
I
too
know
much.
them both.
You're home too much.
She's pretty laid back.
Well, he is, but, okay.
All right.
Well, we will
so-
need a motion though, correct, to bring him on as an independent contractor?
Yes.
We,
Yes.
okay, yeah.
Now, I don't know if Tom will be back
You're okay
tomorrow,
with that?
but we'll get with
Bring
him.
him on as an IC.
Pardon me?
Okay, I'm just asking Jack. I mean,
Yeah, and just, and all of it is 20 bucks an hour to enforce the codes.
cool with that?
Yeah.
So the memo should really be, instead of the township hiring former ordinance enforcement officer, it should be engaging as an
Correct, as an
independent
independent contractor.
Utilizing engaged, yeah.
All right. In your,
contractor.
Don't we have to do that?
No, we gotta do the
We
motion.
have to do that, yeah.
We gotta do I'll make a motion that we retain Tom Hosey as an independent contractor for code enforcement purposes while our existing employee is out on medical leave.
Second,
any further discussion? Did you second?
yes.
Yeah,
20 bucks an
Vince.
hour. I said that, just under my breath.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Kessler is absent, I vote yes. Reed,
Yes,
Lorraine.
Yes,
Mathis.
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Gopel.
Yes.
All right, motion's carried. All right, letter of retirement. We are,
denied.
yeah,
Bob, call me
Second.
last.
Yeah, I'll call you
Call me
later.
last, please.
this is gonna,
Got you covered,
All right.
this
buddy.
is a hard one. I don't know exactly how many years.
25.
25 years.
25 to the day when she retires.
Yes,
for her, get outta
yes.
here.
And she is going to be retiring on March 7th. The township, the employees have got together that they want the people that have worked with her during the day to come down here, you know, and greet her and her family and whatever, and there's some type of a luncheon, like we did Mr. Cooley. So, it's gonna be a hard one though, because this is kind of like a Marge Bissonette, if you ever knew Marge Bissonette. Marge Bissonette knew this government, unbelievable. Valerie does too.
Yep.
But Valerie is a very talented woman, and she will keep herself busy in other things in her life.
I've
She's
talked to her
very,
a
very
couple times, she's looking forward to it.
so she is counting on it, and she's been working with our new zoning and planning administrator, and has done a real good job with him. It's, you know, it's done really well. If you have not met him, I need you just to walk in the township when you have a spare moment and meet him. He's a lovely young man, very, very educated. All right,
I don't know if you'd like you to call him lovely, though.
you what? What did
lovely
you
Most
young
young
lovely.
men don't even call lovely.
say? Lovely?
Handsome, good-looking, lovely just doesn't go there.
I had
All
a
right.
chance to
What a
sit-
beautiful hunk, okay.
Now
That's
you're
way
talking
better.
about-
That's way better.
Jack, this is where you jump in, Jack.
Now we got an HR problem.
All
Stick
right,
around, Jack,
All
we
the
might
way, yeah,
need you.
right.
Turn the recording off.
so we're gonna, you have the letter in your packet in regards to that. I need a motion to accept the regrets, the retirement and resignation of Valerie McDonald effective March 7th, 2019.
So moved.
Oh. I'm looking at him and he's
No, I
got,
just wanted to make a motion.
any further
Keep it
discussion?
going.
You got a
Nobody-
second.
I support,
Okay,
Gopel
roll call.
supports.
or Tucker, either one.
Roll call?
Lorraine?
Yes, with
Gopel,
regret.
Yes.
Kessler's absent. Reed?
Yes,
Mathis?
Yes.
I vote yes. Tucker?
No.
Good for you.
She's staying.
Good for
It's gonna be
you.
on the record.
I'm sorry, 25 years is
No,
not
you're
enough.
not.
I did, just so you guys know, I chatted with her last week, and what Bonnie's telling you about Mike Deem is 100% true, and it is making
He's
it,
a night.
he's a real hunk. No, it's not what I meant. You stop. We haven't done you yet. You stay out of trouble. But it's the fact that he is hitting the ground running is making it easier on us,
Oh,
but it's also making it easier on Valerie, because, you know, that's a weight when you walk away from something like this.
When you're a hunk, you gotta be able to run.
There you go, Bonnie.
Well, she's the one that said had to be a man, right? Isn't that the direction from the supervisor? I remember.
Oh, boy.
he's doing a good job.
We're in trouble.
But he's got a
We're
good
in
teacher
trouble.
too. Valerie is,
Before we get in trouble.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, we're already in trouble.
We're already in trouble.
All right. So we've already voted it, right?
Yep.
Board, any more board comments on any other items?
We have.
We got
the
your amendment.
ZBA appointment.
I got the broken chair.
Okay.
I feel like I'm sitting there, oh.
And I don't even know if you have her, Melissa's.
Everybody, I should have.
Pass them out there.
Somebody needs it? I got it down here.
Here, give this to
All right,
Jack.
and I'm going to have you make the appointment, because you made the request.
Okay.
You got it?
Uh,
All right.
As you well know, on the basis of Mr. Shoemaker being elected to the county commission and us nominating and appointing Christine Reed in Mr. Shoemaker's position, it opened up a position on the ZBA because the rules and regulations say we can't have two board members on that committee. So we advertised for a replacement. This young lady, Melissa Farney, who is a township resident, applied. You have her resume there. I have known Melissa, she has been very active in the area, especially around the dog park, and has expressed many times about wanting to give back. So, other than that, if there's any questions, if not, I'll make a motion.
I have a question.
Oh, boy.
Trouble.
What?
Trouble.
No, I have a lot of passion for the ZBA. I think it plays an extremely important role in our township. I take it very seriously. I'd just like to hear from you why you feel that you're qualified, and what are you going to do to bring yourself up to date with the master plan, zoning ordinances, things like that?
As I was telling these guys earlier, I don't have any experience in public service. This will be the first time. I don't have any experience with the zoning board, but I am more than willing to go to training to make sure that I know what I'm doing before I make any decisions. I know that the decisions that you make with the zoning board are extremely important for the community and for the future of the community as far as land uses and anything like that. I am, as a nurse, my number one job is that of a patient advocate, speaking on behalf of people that can't speak for themselves, and I feel that I'm not easily swayed and that I do the right thing. As we discussed earlier with Mr. Tucker, it's not about approving everything and everything is easily passed through, that there's a process that you go through, and I'm committed to learning that process and taking it as seriously as you do. I understand the commitment it takes, so. But I don't have any experience.
Well, no. The reason why I ask is working in oncology, I can imagine you being an amazing advocate for your patients. I don't want to analogize the two, but when people come in front of the ZBA, I guess you could analogize them. They're the patient.
Right.
And it's totally different because you really can't be an advocate for the patient. You have to be the advocate for the township.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference. And sometimes it's hard when I have personal friends that come up in front of me and you would really love to say yes, and you got to look them in the face, and you just wait for the phone call when you're leaving in your car. That they're upset with you. So I just want to make sure that that's what you are expecting with this job.
Absolutely, doing what's right, and what's right might not be what's favorable to the person standing in front of you, but what's right for the township as a whole is definitely something I'm committed to standing up for. So.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Okay,
Told
any
me
other
she'd
questions?
go to training, that was all I needed to know.
I think it's a requirement that you need to go.
She's got the skill set.
We've got a great book, we got a master plan, and we've got a zoning book. I would get with Tom as soon as he gets back, if he's, or Bonnie or Bob,
have it all.
get the ordinance book, learn it, and do the same thing with the master plan. I've read it twice, it's important.
And you're gonna help me.
I will take whatever time you need.
Okay.
Is there any restriction on proximity to existing board members or anything? Because she's down the road from
Yeah, she
some
doesn't.
troublemaker on the board here, and I'm afraid he might corrupt her.
Gee, thanks for your confidence there, John.
Haven't you learned my sarcasm yet?
Hey Tucker, I have confidence he'll do that. You want-
See, now you gotta work.
I will be glad to.
If there's no more, I'll make a motion that we appoint Melissa Farney for the, to the zoning board of appeal for the remaining time, which would be January 1st, 2021.
Wow.
Support.
You did
Who moved
second,
it?
any further discussion?
I did.
Bob moved
Bob
it.
moved it. Okay.
Roll call, please.
Lorraine,
Yes.
Mathis.
Yes.
Kessler. Is absent. Tucker.
Yes.
Gopal.
Yes.
Should I vote no, John?
Sure, why not?
No, no.
And I also vote yes. Welcome aboard, Melissa.
Yes.
Welcome aboard.
Very excited.
Now, you could come, tomorrow's just, you could call into the office and get with, before Valerie leaves, and Mike,
Okay,
and that would help you too, to meet with them. They're in right now.
okay.
And then also get with Tom. And Tom has to swear you in.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if he'll be in tomorrow.
If he's not, I will take care of it, so either way.
Another thing I would recommend, you've been voted in, but, well, first of all, welcome aboard. You will love it, absolutely love it, I do. It's one of the greatest appointments that Bonnie and this board put me on. But I would recommend, and I will tell you from experience, take the time to go to every piece of property. Take the time.
Oh, you have?
I take
That's a
pictures.
must.
That's one thing she did, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted her on this board so much, is because she did her job. I see some people doing this and looking at, at the packet. Don't look at the packet. Go and take pictures with your phone. Know exactly. So when somebody says it's a sightline variance, you've looked at it, you've looked at the neighbors. The neighbors always come out, they'll talk to you.
You
Take the
always do.
time to do that. If I can give you one piece of recommendation, would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. There are times when you will read through the packet and you think, oh, this is
That's
no
an
big
easy one.
deal. Or you read it and you think, oh my gosh, this could be a hotly contested issue. But then when you walk on the property, sometimes it completely changes your perception. Yeah, it's imperative that you go to all of the
Boots on-
properties.
boots on the
And I
ground.
think every member,
Boots on the
Every member
ground.
does, on the zoning boards for
same
sure.
thing, but they
Yep.
make
You
them.
can do it on your own time.
Yes.
Yes, typically like a weekend morning or something I would go, and they know you're coming. I mean, they submitted the application and they're required to stake out the property so you can get a visual of what they're doing.
Okay.
And so they know that there's gonna be people wandering through their yards.
Will she be on then she will actually, the upcoming, not this Tuesday or the following, but the following Tuesday.
She's on it.
She's on.
She's on.
She's
If you would
on.
like, your packet will be emailed with you tomorrow, and if you want in your first one, I would be glad to go to all the properties with you just to see what I do. If you don't, that's not a
No, I
problem.
would like to have an experience.
We can just jump in the car together and go and do it, and then you'll get it down and it'll be done.
Okay.
Good-
But you'll
good
have
learning
to drive
experience.
this. He won't want to get his dirt.
No, his car can't go in the mud.
I'm pretty particular.
Wow, do I take a lot of bad stuff around here, man?
It's a tough crowd, man.
It is a tough crowd.
When your friends do this to you.
I know. It's,
Look at each
I don't
one
need
of
any
our
enemies.
individual merits. Do remember that you're working for the township. And every single decision on this board for the last 15 years, I've done the same thing. Does it benefit or burden the township as a whole? And this is the same thing. You might have an unpopular opinion. You might be the only one that says yes or no. That's okay. Doesn't always have to be unanimous. Matter of fact, a lot of times this board is not unanimous. And that's okay. All right, so don't be pressured by other people. You look at on your merits what you think is in the best interest of the township as a whole. Okay.
You'll do
I was
great.
there before Vince. I think I think everybody except John. who's
Yeah,
been
I've
on
been
the
stuck in
ZBA.
planning commission.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got a lot of experience to ask. Vince is current, so I mean, he's in the now, but, she was as of yesterday or whatever, so. But, yeah, look at individual merits, okay? Everyone is its own entity, so, don't group everything together. Very good.
And we've already voted, so you can't back up.
No, I don't.
No?
I'm
Other?
very excited.
All right.
Anything you'd like to say?
No, I'm just very
She's
excited.
excited.
I'm thankful for the opportunity and that you gave a newbie a chance, and I look forward to working with everyone, and
Everybody
We
starts
we
somewhere.
were all newbies at one time or another.
And as you stated, Melissa, you wanted to give back. Trust me, this position is giving back.
All right.
Because what you get paid for the job, you'll spend more in gas driving to the properties.
Sad story.
So you did the roll call.
we're
done.
All right.
We're done.
All
Giving
right,
her
now,
advice. Boots on the ground.
I'm going to ask for public comment on agenda and non-agenda items, and then I'm going to ask for a motion to recess the open meeting for the purpose of convening a closed session to discuss pending litigation in the matter of Holiday versus Fenton Township. Do I have a motion? Were you
There's
doing
no-
that?
No, there's public
public
comment. Yeah, I'm gonna do
You
that.
can
But don't I
Your
have to
public
announce it
comment.
anyway?
Well, yeah, right, but you're right.
Because it's taped, they don't see it. I thought I had to announce it.
Okay, public.
Thanks, Melissa. We appreciate your.
Melissa?
thank you guys so much.
I'll
Tell
second.
your
Bye now,
husband
Kurt.
I wanted
See
to
you,
vote
Kurt.
no, but you.
Oh, he's so excited.
Kicker.
So, Melissa, Dr. McCall, do you work with him?
Yeah, not directly, I mean, we get his
Okay.
patients, I work in, radiation.
Oh, okay.
So we get, but yeah, he's the top surgeon, oncology surgeon at Hurley, so, we get his patients if they need radiation. I mainly work with, Dr. O, Dr. Cotrell.